Up your present.
Because I'm holding the camera.
I can hold the camera. I can tell you that much. There you go. Here,
Oh
you finished the job.
Gosh,
all right,
dude.
let's see.
Hey, it's been a long time coming, dude. Let's play the guitar real quick. Dude, I am so happy.
You excited?
Dude, I am so excited.
All right, so why are you excited? What is it that you've been waiting for?
You want to ask me that question one more time?
Why are you excited? What have you been waiting for?
Because I drove your truck. That's why.
So, like we've discussed, these are just going to help that ride quality just that much more.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I'm having a hard time because I don't want to oversell these and make people, because it's going to be still another month or two until these come out to the public. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, are they worth it? Yes.
Yeah.
Should you wait? I mean, it's just up to you. They look great, that's one thing, but the functionality of them are superior.
Yeah, well, I've seen Mr. Steve McGaughys taking these off your truck and testing them, putting them back on, testing them, putting them back on. So I know that he's put a lot of work into these, and based off of your system, from February, March, I think is when I saw you?
Yeah.
They were good. And so these are the last testing part of what he's been doing before we release them to the public, and I can't wait to see how they feel.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, these are not just a shock that was taken off of the 2500 platform and then transferred over to the AT4X. These are custom valve specifically for the AT4X. And I want to say, because we did try the ones off the 2500 and they didn't ride as well, the 2500s have a different spring pack and they have some other different variances of the truck, which warranted a new formula for the actual, valving inside. And Steve took the time, like you said, numerous times, taking the shocks off my AT4X, and this is what he's come up with. So
yeah, it's all to the point. When I was here, back in February, March, I begged him for some. I said, can I just get some? And he says, no, try out the Multimatics before I give you these, because I want you to know, once you get the droop travel back into your suspension, the Multimatics are going to perform better. And I will admit, the Multimatics do feel a lot better compared to when the truck was not lifted. However, as I said earlier, he asked me, why did I want these? Why am I so excited? It's because I drove his truck. And there's just a little bit more of that softness when you hit those imperfections in a row. This gives it a little bit better balance. The rebound's better for sure. So super excited to get these installed. We're here at Signature Performance, if I haven't said it yet. And that guy over there, this lucky dude over here, this lucky duck, he's just chilling. he's getting some too. So we'll be able to test these out, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion. If they're good, I will 100% be truthful about it. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they feel.
well, no, if they're bad, then you're just not going to post this video.
Hey, that's true too. No, I have to do my part too.
That is joking and stuff, but seriously, there's been a lot of dedication put into these shocks. They are not just generic shocks that are getting shipped in from overseas.
Nope.
These are built in-house, as JB got to see firsthand, and Steve, the owner, engineer, has put a lot of dedication. We have a shock dyno. We've got all the different things that are needed to fine-tune the shocks to make sure that the formula inside those shocks provide the best ride quality by the seat of your pants on drivability for the street, for towing, for off-road use, all the common reasons why you have one of these trucks.
Now, real quickly too, there was something, was he testing shit? What was he putting internally that he kept testing in it's like little shims or?
Shims,
shims. Okay.
So inside they have a different shim pack, and that's what he was showing you, that he was changing on the dyno, showing the different dyno charts and all that stuff, that you can just fine tune them and change them, and that's why it took so long.
I didn't get that on camera because Mr. McGaughys, he says this a lot. He says, I don't know how other people do it, but here's how I do it. So I didn't film that part of the video.
Well, a chef doesn't want to show the inside of the kitchen of how he's cooking things and everything, so
Well, everyone has an opinion online about everything.
Sure.
And so, but I do like the way they look too. I think that's the other part of it. I do like this more off-road rugged look, the external reservoir. You guys see that? This is stainless steel braided line. The manufacturers give you rubber. Like if you go and buy a $100,000 TRX, they use a rubber hose for this. Not to say that it's bad, right? But that's the attention to detail that they put into these shocks too. This probably weighs about, this is the front. Is this front?
yeah.
Yes, front. Probably weighs about what, 3 pounds, 4 pounds?
I don't know.
It's
It's gonna be lighter than the DSSV.
Yeah, so a little bit of weight savings, and yeah, I like the way it's set up. So excited to get them on there.
Well, I'm excited for you.
So here they are, guys. We have the Multimatics out of my truck. These are the fronts, and then these are the rear. You guys see here, this is how they sit inside the rear. So this is basically inverted. And as I said in the video, these are actually really good shocks. You know, I was actually expecting them to perform a little bit better when I bought my truck. In the past, a lot of people would ask me, you know, through email about these AT4X and ZR2 trucks because they did ride a little rough. When I first bought this truck, I was so excited because it was my first time actually driving it. And when I took it off the lot, I went straight down to the Chevy store and did a comparison. You guys can probably find that video. And on my way down there, I was like, this feels like a one-ton. And when I got there, I wound up driving the ZR2 to see if it was the same case because that truck's a little bit lighter. And when I drove that truck, it was the same story. It just felt a little stiff. And I expected the Multimatics to do a better job, and they just did not perform as good. Now, when I did lift this truck, I did find that these do perform a lot better. Now, here's an interesting thing that I found out about these shocks. These shocks are the only HD manufacturer shocks that Multimatic has done. And so I won't be too hard on them. You know, these trucks, I mean, this truck here, it's like 8,400 pounds from the factory, and it's not even an AEV edition. So imagine if this truck had the extra stuff. Even though you see my bumper, this is not an actual AEV edition. I put this bumper on here. But those trucks weigh like an additional 400 pounds, I believe. And so when you consider the fact that these trucks already come pretty heavy from the factory, the shocks have to perform at a certain level to make them still have comfort, obviously, especially when you're looking to tow. So Multimatic had their hands full building these shocks for these trucks. And so my theory is when they go to redesign these trucks for the next generation, they're probably going to have a dedicated frame for these trucks. That way you don't lose the droop travel that these trucks get from the factory. So Nick Vasquez, you guys saw him, he's done a few videos on this, and he's mentioned that these stock AT4X ZR2 trucks only have about 2 inches of droop travel. And if you were to compare that with a regular Denali AT4, they have about 3 inches. So when you get this 4-inch kit, you actually have a total of 4 inches of droop travel. So if you're trying to figure out why the heck does the truck ride so much better with the lift, normally getting a lift does make your truck ride worse, but no. In this theory here, you can see the angles of the suspension right here. So you see the CV axle here, and then you see the tie rod end is straight. That is the main reason why the truck rides so much better. And you guys see here, we have a true 4 inches of lift on this truck. So when you get an AT4X ZR2, it's actually 2 inches. But if you had a regular AT4 Denali pickup, High Country, Silverado HD, whatever, 2500, 3500, it would be a true 4 inches, okay? So these shocks, they're good. And I'm excited to see what Multimatic does for these trucks in the future. Now, when you push down on it, I like doing this. You can really see it is a little stiff for sure. And here's a good question for you guys. So, video coming really soon on this. How much does it cost to replace these shocks? Because remember, this truck is like 8,500 pounds. How long are these shocks going to last? My guess would be around 75,000 miles. And here's another question for you. Are these rebuildable? I'm doing some research on that right now for you guys. So that video is coming soon. And real quickly, you guys see right here, that is from my exhaust. So I'm going to show you guys the suspension on the side here. This is another reason why I like the M84s. I like the display. Obviously they put the external reservoir here, whereas on the Multimatics, your additional fluid is built into the body of the shock. So those are deflective discs, these are spool valves. And so in the back, because the M84s are just a little bit smaller in size, they don't come into contact with my exhaust. So having a 5-inch exhaust, they actually do give me more space. That way they're not coming in contact with the exhaust. So these are gonna be the shock spacers for the Multimatics. When McGaughys comes out with the M84s, you will not need these anymore. And I just wanted to show you guys just how well they engineer these. They have robots that do the welds for them. They build these in-house in California, and just the overall fit and finish of their kits are just insane. I mean, these things have held up really well. I've gone off-road with these, gone down some pretty harsh trails with wifey in the car with me, and I'm just really like pleased with the overall quality and just how well the powder coating held up on this stuff too. You guys see even where the screws made contact, there's just no damage on this thing, man. So like, just if you're in the market, I know a lot of people like the BDS and Cognitos and all those, and those are good kits. I'm not saying anything about them negative. It's just with their kit, there's no extra track width up front. So normally when you add a lift to your truck, sometimes the kits that you buy will give you additional track width. How you know that pops up is right here. As I showed you the screws, or the bolt heads here, you see how they're pretty much parallel? That's how you know there's no extra track width. So if you buy aftermarket wheels and you have a specific offset that you chose, you may have to run a spacer so the rear matches the front. So that's just another reason why I like their kit. And I'm not gonna call anyone out, but there are some kits on the market where you're gonna have the front wheels poking out more than the rear. And I would have been really upset about that because I never thought about that when I bought this lift kit, and you don't have to worry about that. So in closing, I'm doing some research for you guys on these shocks. I'm gonna see if we can get these things rebuilt. You hear that? My truck has about 40,000 miles on it. I mean, these are still good, but these shocks are not cheap. And hopefully in the future, when they do the complete redesign of these trucks, Multimatic would have learned something from these on how to make them perform a little bit better. And hopefully GM does better. I won't say does better. Hopefully they'll design the frame for the ZR2 and AT4X trucks. That way you don't lose droop travel for the lift. Because as you guys know, the way they set up the front end of these trucks, this is basically a leveling kit. I've said it, I've learned that from McGaughys, from Nick Vasquez, and it's 100% factual. These trucks ride a little bit rougher for the factory. It was hard for me to say that because I expected them to ride better. And because of these shocks, I do know in the half tons and the mid-size pickups, they all rode a little bit better compared to the ones that didn't have these shocks on them. That's when I figured out, oh, it's because of the loss of droop travel. So stay tuned for the videos coming for these shocks, how much it's going to cost to buy new, and if there is a way to rebuild them. See you guys next video.